All right, so today, guys, we have a 2019 RS3 sedan, and yeah, just talking about the front end to begin with, it's very aggressive. I do prefer this car over the hatchback. I think it's a way more aggressive looking beast compared to the hatchback. I think it's way more functional over the hatchback, and I just think it's a better car all in all. Talking about the front end, so I love this aggressive front bumper. Very different to the standard S, or well, not, it's not a standard with the S3, but it's very different to the standard A3. You've actually got intakes that actually work, so these are functional, okay? So it actually feeds air through. I love the signature quattro down here, and I love the honeycomb finish. And I love that this car is all blacked out. So on the other models of the RS3, there's option for all this to be in a brushed aluminium. I do like the blacked out finish, and I actually like the purple paint, the dark purple paint. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Would you prefer this or the blue or the red? I actually like this paint, it's a bit different, and I love the laser headlamps. They're awesome. When you put your blinkers on and they pulsate, it looks awesome. Besides that, let's talk about specs. All right, so specs about the car. Before that, just quickly, how good looking is this motor? I love that the actual intake manifold is powder coated with the Audi logo on it. That looks actually awesome. This is just an engine cover, so really it's nothing, it just comes off, so just looks cool. But it's an awesome motor. But about this motor, so it's a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbocharged motor, making 294 kilowatts and 480 newton meters of torque. Does 0 to 100 in 4.1 seconds, which they say, but let me say this, it does 3.9, and it has an quattro all drive system that, I'll be honest, is a bit front wheel drive bias. It's not really rear wheel drive bias, but in saying so, it doesn't really ruin the whole experience of the drive. You just notice it in some corners that it does kind of understeer a bit. Besides that, guys, it's a great motor, and I love the firing rate of it. The 1, 2, 4, 5, 3 firing rate, that it makes it sound like a Lambo. Look, they want to admit it, it's a Lamborghini engine cut in half. That's what it is, and that's why it sounds like that. But let's finish that there, and let's go to the side of the car. All right, guys, so we're talking about the side of the car. So let's talk about aesthetics of the side first. I really do like the side profile of this car. I love the curves. I love the crease lines down the side. Like I said before, I really do like the design of this car. It just fits in every angle. It's very simple, but very elegant. Now specs. Okay, so the car weighs about 1,600 kilos. So it is a bit heavy, but it makes up for that with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which makes it launch extremely fast. Like, it's fast. Like, you'll see it later on when we actually test drive it. It is insane, okay? Another thing, guys, at the front we have 19-inch, and at the rear, obviously, we have 19-inch because it's all-wheel drive. This is where it's a bit weird. You got two 55s at the front, but you got two 35s at the rear. And again, that's due to that front-wheel drive bias. You need a bit more grip at the front than at the rear. Some guys do put two 55s all around, which I would do. At the front, we also have 6-piston brake calipers at the front, and we got a single one at the rear. But besides that, guys, that's the side. I don't really like these wheels. That's one thing I'm gonna say. I'm not the biggest fan of these wheels. I think that if you're gonna go for a wheel, I'd go aftermarket, and I'd probably go HREs or maybe rotiforms, and go for a deeper dish wheel with multi-spokes and a bit wider. But that's my preference. Let's check out the rear. That is that 5-cylinder motor. Hey Lucas, give it some. Oh, I just remembered, Audi have a stupid rev limiter. Why? Just why? When you have such a great engine and you can't even rev it at a set of lights. Like, yeah, why? All right, Lucas, turn it off. So guys, the rear end. I do like the rear end. It's very aggressive. I love this diffuser at the bottom here, okay? Even though it's kind of not really real, but it looks good. I love the oval exhaust. That's signature to the RS models. That is signature oval exhaust that are actually real. Okay. I love the little lip at the back here. Again, I love the lights. The lights are cool. I like how they pulsate when you turn, and also when you turn the car on. But all in all, I actually really like the aesthetics of this car. I can't complain about it. There's nothing for me to say that it doesn't look good. Let me know, guys, in the comments. If you don't think it looks good, then let me know. Just to let you know, there's other cars that you might be thinking when buying this, like you'd think of the BMW M2 maybe, or maybe you're thinking of the Golf R, or maybe you're thinking about the CLA 45 AMG or the A45 AMG. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, and this is where I'm going to say this. As an all-round car, this car is phenomenal. It does everything correctly. To take the kids to school if you've got a small family, and also it can fit stuff because it's got a 315 litre boot with all our stuff in it. Just excuse that, but it's 315 litres. It's also got a bigger space. It's to put stuff in. Like most cars compromise with the boot of how it's open. You've got a load lip here, so you don't scuff the paint. You've got a pad here, but it's big enough to fit stuff in. It's not terrible, right? And again, it's just a good all-round car for performance, for everyday use. The M2 is a bit more of a driver's car. I get that, but on a daily basis, it's probably drive you mad. I would love it because I wouldn't care. But for someone that wanted a car that can go from comfort to sport to everything, I think this is the best match and the best price for your money. Because anything that you're thinking of buying that's a sedan would be the CLA 45, which is then upwards of 100, which is pretty expensive. And now let's not mention the new BMW 2 Series because that's a poor excuse for a BMW and I absolutely hate it. It's ugly, it's shit. It's front wheel drive bias, absolute garbage. It shouldn't even have an M badge on it. They should get that and throw it out the window. But let me not rant on about that and let's go in the interior. All right guys, so we're in the interior of the RS3 and I'm gonna keep it simple and brief. I don't wanna go on and ramble on about everything. So let's just talk about all the RS badges. You've got one on the gear shift, one on the steering wheel, one on the seat, door sill, and in the actual cockpit itself, the virtual cockpit. Talking about the virtual cockpit, I honestly think it's one of the best on the market. You can go through so many options without taking your eyes off the road and keeping looking straight. There is the navigation that pops up on here with the both dials separating, and you can go through so many options, okay? It's just insane. You also got soft touch materials on the dash, which I love. The steering wheel reminds me of a Lambo. I love it. It's awesome with a flat bottom, very sporty. You've got the two-tone, so you've got the Alcantara where your hands will be most of the time, and then lever at top and bottom, depending on how you drive. And then you've also got the aluminium pedals at the back. Now, I wish that these would be a bit bigger and a little bit more high quality. I know there's options aftermarket where you can extend them to make them bigger, so I would do that. Talking about the side of the doors, you've got leather on the door, you've got Alcantara in the middle here, which is really nice to touch. You've got the carbon accent, you've got the aluminium door handles. You also got a Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is insane. You've got aluminium pedals, which makes it look sporty, and that's everything where the driver sits, so that's pretty cool and it's awesome. Coming to the center of the car, you got infotainments where you can go through any option possible with a swivel wheel. There's Apple CarPlay and all that, so you've got all the bits and bods. Also, you've got these vents which remind you of a turbine, which looks cool. They do have a plastic finish on the inside. Not the biggest fan of that. I wish it could be a bit of high quality plastic, but not the worst thing in the world. Then you've got the buttons all here to go through your driver selection mode, turn your traction control off, which you should do all the time because it's the best and it's fun. And then you have turning the stop-start function off, which I can't stand. I don't understand why that is in a sports car. It shouldn't be in this because you're not concerned about saving fuel or saving bunnies, so it shouldn't be in here. It should be removed, so that should be out of here. And then below that, you have your aircon. So you got your dual climate control system, which is finished off in these nice brushed little aluminium knobs on the ends, which really nice and nice finish. Then you come to the center. You got this brushed like black aluminium kind of plastic, which is kind of a letdown when the middle console is a bit cheap on the side with this plastic. I don't really like it. It's not the nicest. But yeah, you got all your driving modes and functions here as well down here. Wish there was a manual version of this. To be blatantly honest, it would be awesome, but unfortunately it only comes in an automatic. And I wish there was an actual physical handbrake. You have an electronic handbrake. Why? That's another thing that I can't stand, which most cars have these days. You've also got leather on both sides of the dash where your legs would rest. And then you've got carbon that goes right across into the passenger side with a Quattro badge on the dash. And then you've got a frameless rear view mirror, which makes it look expensive and nice. You got your sunroof, and you got these awesome sports seats, which are awesome to drive in daily. Oh, and on the windows, you've also got aluminium finishes on the window switches and on every other knob in the car. That's practically it, guys. Oh, God. Jesus. So that's 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. Miles per hour. Oh, no, I mean kilometers an hour. Sorry. I mean kilometers an hour. That was quite fast. That is the party piece of this car. Let me talk about this car. Okay, so The party piece of this car is that it can do that every day, all day. This all drive system in this car is nuts. Even though it's a bit front wheel drive bias, and I will say that in the corners, it does make up for it in that launch. It is so intoxicating. It will throw you into your seat every day. Okay, so that's already one thing, okay? The transmission, on the other hand, when you chuck it into comfort mode, which I will do, it changes the car completely. So it becomes subtle and it becomes a great daily driver. The car is actually a phenomenal daily driver. You'd buy this car if you want something that is fast, responsive, gives you that excitement that you want from a driver's car, and you want to take the kids to school in it, and you want it to be comfortable, and you don't want it to be a nuisance. Now, most people will say, yeah, but like the BMW M2 is a better car because it's a driver's car, but this car wasn't meant to be like that. This car is supposed to be used on everyday, like everyday purposes. And the M2 is a 2-door on the other hand, guys. It's not even a 4-door. This is a 4-door, and it has back seats which you can actually fit people in. The M2, you can't fit anyone in there unless you chop their legs off. Okay, so it's a bit, you have to compromise with that. On the other hand, guys, in the corners, the car is a bit heavy. You do feel it that due to the weight of the car and the all drive system, it doesn't feel as nimble as something that would be as rear wheel drive. But in saying so, the all drive system is so good that when you hit a corner, you don't feel like you're gonna lose traction, and it sticks like it's on rails. To me, to be honest, I would prefer something that would give me a bit more feedback and that would scare the shit out of me, where this doesn't around corners. However, like I said from the beginning of this video, it's a daily driver. It's a fast daily driver, and it's an awesome car all around. So I can't complain about that. All right, so we're going to talk about the handling of the car. Now, before we go into that, I will say this. The car is front wheel drive biased. This Quattro all drive system, even though they've tried to refine it and fix it so it's a bit more rear wheel drive biased around corners, it still feels quite front wheel drive biased. It understeers a lot in the corner. So I'll take the corner like now, and you'll just feel it. You just want to understeer a little bit, but then you feel that power jump into the rear end, and it's a bit disappointing. However, it makes up for that with how this car launches. Okay, that's where it makes it up for, and how this car sounds. Okay, it sounds insane. But I'm not saying that the all drive system's terrible. It's still very good. It still feels like it's on rails, and that's another thing that's disappointing too about it. When it's too precise and too direct, it makes it quite boring because there's no feedback, right? But, and I'll say this with a big but, you don't buy this car because you're trying to buy the ultimate driving car. You're buying this so it can do everything well, which this car does really well.